A little while ago, almost out of the blue it seems, Nintendo decided to share some new details about upcoming mobile games on their Twitter account. One of these details being the announcement of a brand new mobile game. The subject of this video, Dr. Mario World. This intrigued many Nintendo fans to say the least upon its announcement. Many mixed opinions are coming about concerning this game, and I'm going to address that within this video. Some fans are wondering why Nintendo decided to make a mobile game about Dr. Mario instead of using some other franchise that they like better to make a mobile game. And some people, including myself, are really excited about the idea of a Dr. Mario mobile game and think it could work very well on mobile. In this video, I'm going to be going over some reasons for why Nintendo decided to make a mobile game based on Dr. Mario, my general first impressions of the game, and the possible big future implications that this has on Nintendo in 2019. With all that being said, let's get started. To begin, I think it's best to take a look at a broader perspective of this, not just talking about why Dr. Mario World was decided to be a new mobile game, but why Dr. Mario is valued so much by Nintendo in general. Like, just stop and think for a second. Out of all the characters that Nintendo decides to pretty heavily push in this modern age, why is Dr. Mario still one of them? Maybe I shouldn't have said heavily push. He's not put in a bunch of Mario sports games or anything like that, but he is in Smash Brothers. He's still a character in there, and Nintendo's not shy about releasing many new titles for the Dr. Mario series. They were releasing pretty consistently over the Wii and 3DS era. For some reason, Nintendo really values this character or game as an asset and believes that it can draw. I think one of the reasons for this is Dr. Mario was one of the classic series. It was back on the NES, and those of you who have purchased the Nintendo Switch Online service could realize that this game is part of that package. For those not too familiar about how the Dr. Mario games work, it's very similar to Tetris, if I could sum it up very quickly. There are some changes obviously, but the gameplay style is pretty similar to that, and I believe that that's the biggest Tetris-styled game series that Nintendo has, and considering the massive success and legacy that Tetris had, I think Nintendo wants to continue this series in the hopes that they could capitalize on the massive success of that game series. Or they just find the style of gameplay really fun, and it obviously has its fans, which is why they chose to bring it to mobile, and they think there's a market out there for it. Regardless of what any reasons for that are, Nintendo still seems to value Dr. Mario a lot, and I don't think we should be seeing the end of the series anytime soon. It may not end up coming to Nintendo Switch, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but since we're seeing it come to mobile, Nintendo must clearly value it a lot and have some prospect for it. But let's answer one of the main questions that I was proposing at the top of this video and suggest some of the real reasons for why Nintendo would decide to bring this game to mobile in the first place. It's one thing for them to just value the series in general. They value the Legend of Zelda series. That hasn't been brought to mobile yet or even revealed. So why bring the Dr. Mario series to mobile? Well, the first reason, and I believe that's a very significant reason, is that Dr. Mario, as I mentioned, is a puzzle game in sort of a Tetris style, not exactly as I mentioned, and puzzle games like that tend to do very well on mobile. You look at things, and I know it's completely different, but Candy Crush and other mobile games like that, puzzle games just tend to work out very well on mobile, and there's a huge market out there for it. People will want to play a new puzzle game that's put on mobile, especially if it's popular and people are talking about it. And with a series that's as popular as the Mario series, this definitely has the ability to blow up and become decently popular, and Nintendo would like to inch their way in and take advantage of the puzzle game market as much as they can. I believe that puzzle games do really well on mobile because of their simplicity and easy methods to control on a mobile screen. You can just touch and move things around. It's very easy and simple to grasp. But in order to get good at a puzzle game on mobile, and I think this is really how they hook their fans, it's kind of hard to master. As you go forward in a puzzle game, obviously the levels get more difficult, and obviously this would be something that could be capitalized on with Dr. Mario World on mobile. Another thing that's really different between puzzle games on mobile and the majority of other games, most puzzle games don't require an internet connection to play through. Obviously some of them do, but some of them, for most of their functionality, don't require any Wi-Fi. So maybe if somebody doesn't have access to the internet at a particular time, they could decide to play Dr. Mario World. Just have this game downloaded for a situation where they wouldn't have any internet to play a game on their phone. But that's the first main reason for why Dr. Mario is coming to mobile, and I have a few other reasons as well. One of these is that Nintendo could be getting ready for a big mobile push starting in the summer With this announcement, as well as the delay of Mario Kart Tour's release, and having both of these games scheduled to release in the summer of 2019, Dr. Mario World specifically said to be early summer 2019, this could mean that we'll be getting even more mobile games releasing near the end of 2019 and beyond. Because Nintendo has clearly valued the mobile game market as they've made a lot of money there, Nintendo could want to put more franchises on mobile, and this could just be another start to a long mobile run that they'll have. Nintendo did release Dragalia Lost recently on mobile, but I don't think they're going for any major sales with that or anything. Dr. Mario World could definitely be pushing for that higher amount of mobile revenue generation. Another reason for why Nintendo decided to put Dr. Mario on a mobile is it allows them to capitalize on the Mario brand while not releasing another main Mario mobile game, and while it may not be successful as some of the other mobile games or maybe another franchise that they could have released, it still takes advantage of the mega popular Mario series, and at least now they're using a microtransaction formula instead of the pay to get access to the majority of the game formula that did not work out in Mario Run. The Mario Run format didn't work out that well for the game, but releasing a puzzle game with the Mario brand that's using microtransactions now could definitely help it succeed, because people recognize Mario on the cover of this game. Some of them might not know what Dr. Mario is though, so they'll get intrigued, click on it, and might decide to go and play the game. But by releasing a Dr. Mario game instead of another main Mario mobile game like a 2D platformer or something like that, it allows them to not stagnate the market with an abundance of similar types of games, and allows them to get some variety in there. People don't want to play the same thing over and over again, at least on mobile. That's been proven not to work out too well. So by providing some variety, some people will want to enjoy a game like Mario Run, some people will want to enjoy a game like Fire Emblem Heroes more. But you're gonna have your puzzle gamers out there for Dr. Mario on mobile. Another reason why Dr. Mario could have been chosen to go to mobile is it's an opportunity now to evolve the Dr. Mario games and make some format changes that many fans have been requesting for without having to develop a full-on console game for Dr. Mario. Nintendo values this series, as I mentioned near the top of the video, but it's not one of their highest value series, and what I mean by that is, yeah, they'll have fairly consistent releases. You'll get a new one every few years or so, but they're not really high priority releases for Nintendo. Most of the Dr. Mario titles are download only titles. They'll just stick it in the eShop and hope some people download it without having to spend more money on a full retail release for the game, which would obviously cost a lot more. By making the titles download only, it saves Nintendo some money that way without having to take the risk of those games not blowing up for sales like they would expect one of their flagship franchises to. Dr. Mario games are not meant to be pulling in millions of units for sales, and by keeping them download only, it allows the people who want access to the titles to get them, and it makes it so that they don't have to put as much promotion on it as they would have to for a game that is getting physically released. But what does that have to do with mobile? Well, the mobile game would obviously be a download, and you wouldn't have to release a new game for the Switch because of this. We could obviously be getting a Dr. Mario game on the Switch, which could potentially have some connectivity with Dr. Mario World, but that remains to be seen. And if one gets released on the Switch, we could obviously interpret that as, yeah, Nintendo wants some connectivity between the mobile game and the game that's on the Switch. But if we do not get a Dr. Mario game on the Switch, then we could really interpret that Nintendo is going for Dr. Mario on mobile because they see that as the best fit for the franchise, and that's where the future of the series is going to go. And depending on how well it does, that could potentially be its new home. Dr. Mario games have been on main consoles before, and they've obviously worked to a degree, but I think Nintendo really sees a future for the series on a portable console. While the Nintendo Switch is one, you obviously have to develop the game to be able to be played on the home docked version of the console as well, and have some uses for that there. If Nintendo didn't want to spend all of the resources to do that and fully develop the game in HD, which would certainly cost a lot of money, putting it on mobile would probably be a cheaper option, and it's also something that they could just do to further the partnerships in the mobile industry that they have. In terms of my general thoughts on this game before I get into the future implications of Nintendo, I'm pretty excited for it as somebody who has played Dr. Mario games before, but I'm not a hardcore fan of the series and I'm not too into any of the things that people who actively keep up with the series are into. I'll casually play a couple of games here and there, but I haven't played every single entry in the series or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting for me as a player from that perspective to get into this game and try to experience it and see what new things have been added since the last time that I've experienced the game. There would obviously be improvements. They're releasing a game in 2019. It's not like they're releasing it in the early 2000s. You've got some new technology to work with here, and as I mentioned before, you could probably make this game so that Wi-Fi is not required, but multiplayer would definitely be a good option to have if the Wi-Fi option is available, and I think that would be a great way for promoting the game, and this leads into the future impact for Nintendo if they get this natural promotion through the multiplayer for Dr. Mario World, where you compete against somebody else. It naturally creates that promotion in there where people see somebody else playing the game and they want to go download the game themselves and play it with you. Having a multiplayer component wouldn't just be fun, it also makes great business sense to promote the game. Why release your game as an experience only for one person when you can make that experience catered to multiple people? And I think multiplayer is definitely a likely thing for Dr. Mario World, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about how good it would be, but it would really make sense and it would be a shame if that was not included in this game. I don't know if we could be seeing a massive blow up in terms of sales for this game, which is presumably why Nintendo wants to release it in the same season as Mario Kart Tour. I think Mario Kart Tour has a lot more potential to become a massive success than Dr. Mario World does, and I'm going to talk about that a lot more in another video that I have coming up, but I do think that Nintendo does see some success in the future of Dr. Mario World, but not to that degree. Hopefully capitalizing on the Mario brand will be enough for them to be able to market this game efficiently and people don't get too confused at the sight of it. But only time will tell what really happens for the future of this game and how successful it is. And you never know, if it ends up becoming very successful, we could see Dr. Mario get pushed way more than he already is, with some appearances in potentially Mario Party or Mario sports games or things like that. Let me know what you think about Dr. Mario World in the comments down below. Why do you think it's coming to mobile? And what are your general first impressions of this game? Obviously, we haven't seen anything of it yet, so it's pretty early to talk about it, but I'd like to know what you think regardless. Remember to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you don't miss any new Nintendo uploads. With that all being said, though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.